practice for the Canadian Grand Prix began with huge controversy, as Stoffel Vandoorne has been replaced at McLaren for the remainder of the season by young Brit Will Stevens. Ron Dennis stating this is the benefit of the team, as Vandoorne really hasn't showed any promise compared to his teammates since his debut last season here at Canada. So now Vandoorne will be partnering Pascal Wehrlein at Manor for the remainder of the season. Taking a look at the qualifying grid for the Canadian Grand Prix, and Jean-Eric Vergne will take pole, less than a tenth clear of Valtteri Bottas, and with a much improved qualifying there to take second. In third would be his teammate Fernando Alonso, 4 thousandths behind, Daniel Kvyat having to settle for fourth on the grid. Sebastian BUEMI will line up in fifth as the lead Williams, and Will Stevens lines up in sixth on his debut for McLaren. Josh Chirac only managed 7th on the grid, ahead of Lewis Hamilton by 2 thousandths of a second, who will start as the lead Ferrari. Sebastian Vettel will only manage 9th on the grid, and Carlos Sainz with an impressive lap will line up in 10th for Toro Rosso. Max Verstappen would start just outside the top 10 in 11th, with Alex Rossi the lead Haas in 12th. Esteban Ocon's brakes didn't catch fire this time, so he'll start from 13th on the grid, with Rui Harianto only managing P14. Then come the two Manners of Vandoorne and Wehrlein, so Vandoorne out qualifying Wehrlein on their first race as teammates. Romain Grosjean only managed 17th on the grid. Sergio Perez manages 18th for Force India, with Sutil in 19th, Ericsson in 20th, and then on the back row of the grid, it was to be the two Renaults with a very, very disappointing showing, and Daniel Ricciardo ahead of Nico Hülkenberg. Hey guys, Tara here. Welcome back to UniONE, this time round 7, the Canadian Grand Prix. If you did miss the last race out of Monaco, definitely go and check that out before this race. Completely hectic race, pretty much from start to finish. Mass incidents, stupid crashes, and just generally a lot of poor driving and very strange decisions from the stewards as well. But now, can Will Stevens do anything on his debut race? Of course, for McLaren, after finally getting his first race with the top team. Of course, we've seen after his performance at Spain, teams were eyeing him up for a race seat, and now Stevens finally gets his opportunity to race for a top team. And that qualifying us on your debut is pretty much a good way to start it, out qualifying a Williams, which is the fastest car in a straight line, and the McLaren, well, it isn't. So imagine McLaren going for a low drag setup there, maybe setting his car up for qualifying pace. So interesting to see how he does in the race. And then we've got Hamilton behind us, and Hamilton this way took his first victory all the way back in 2007. So let's see if 9 years later he can repeat the same today. Now coming to the 5 red lights for the start of the Canadian Grand Prix. Lights out and away we go. Stevens gets really poor start onside, this bogs down off the start. Now we're already up into P6, but now going down this turn 1 and go 3 wide. Bottas is taking the lead and going 3 wide further behind with Alonso and the 2 Red Bulls. Alonso and Jack is trying to hold it now right around the outside of the 2 Red Bulls. That's surely not going to work out, and indeed it doesn't. Managed to go side by side with our teammate Sebastian BUEMI, which doesn't work out. BUEMI just doesn't have enough run to get front there. Now Stevens fighting back, now Stevens going to hold it right up our inside. Stevens gets right back down to P6, so really has got some fight in the young Brit. Of course, for his first race with the top team, really wanted to impress McLaren after taking Vandoorne's seat, after Vandoorne had one season and really hadn't impressed anything with it. Easily outperformed by Fernando Alonso in last season 2015, and easily outperformed by Rui Harianto in the first 6 races of this season as well. Cutting his way through lap 1, now he's trying to close back on Will Stevens, because that McLaren, surely that McLaren is set up for one lap pace. And to see in the station gaining so much on the back of Will Stevens, because that Honda power unit, of course, still no upgrade, so that is still the Honda power unit they've had for the entirety of this season. So Honda really are just lacking on the upgrades, really not upgrading much. You've seen that the McLaren this season does have potential, but Honda just aren't maximising it at all, honestly. Now coming down the straight, you got BUEMI just going to breeze past Fernando Alonso there. Coming down the straight, goes 2 Rebels going side by side up in front as well. So now BUEMI managed to get past. Alonso gets a horrible exit. Now we get past one, and so is the Will Stevens. It's like everyone's battling further behind there. Manic battling. Now we get past, right up behind now Sebastian BUEMI, our teammate. Now there's a Rebel, one of the Rebels goes hit into the Rebels, looking at a lot of off the track, gets right back from there. Oh, Sebastian BUEMI managed to brake check himself there to avoid hitting into the back there of the Red Bull. So very lucky there for Sebastian BUEMI to not lose his front wing. That could easily been a front wing off if he'd have made contact there with the back of whichever Red Bull that was. So now we're up to P5. We've already got 1 car out of this race, so they didn't last very long. But now we've got Fernando Alonso behind us. So Alonso has kept it in front there of Will Stevens just about, and that's pretty much just purely for pride, because Stevens, because Alonso left McLaren last season after feeling that they won't be championship contenders this season. And honestly, they're on the fringes of being championship contenders. I mean, they have the pace, they can keep up, but they just haven't got the power to keep ahead once they gain the position. So in the slipstream and DRS, as you've seen at China with Haryanto, they can overtake the Mercedes and anyone they want, but they just haven't got the raw engine power to keep them ahead and just legit take pole positions at this point in the season. They still need some Honda upgrades to achieve that. Now looking back in front now, the two Rebels, now we've got Johnny Van, I think, looking up the inside now, off down the Kvyat into the final corner, trying to hold it side by side now through the final corner. That's how one of them gets through. The Rebels get a terrible exit though. Luckily Sebastian BUEMI all the opportunity he needs to try and make an overtake. Now coming down into turn 1, he's going to be straight line. Boy's going to dive it up the inside now. Oh, Johnny Van, so that was Kvyat making a move on Van, so now Boy's going to try and hold it now right around the outside now. Oh, Johnny Van coming around turn 3, getting hold now around the outside, he's going to keep his footing now on the racing line. He's going to keep it side by side with Johnny Van, he's getting the run there on the Red Bull. He's going to hold it around the outside now. Van actually hits the wall there, Van loses momentum, hits into the wall. Now allows us to get around. Fernando Alonso looking all over the back now of the Frenchman. But Alonso has to steer behind Johnny Van, so Van there just lost 2 positions in the space of 2 or 3 corners. Thankfully, it looks like he's got away with any front wing damage there from that contact with the wall, seeing how the cars seem so much more fragile this season, so that could easily have been a front wing off there for the Frenchman, but thankfully it wasn't. So now we can try and chase down our teammate Sebastian BUEMI. But now when we got DRS, now how powerful DRS and slipstream is this season, especially with the new regulations for design of the cars. Now coming up under heavy braking now for the hairpin, whereas the Williams doesn't have the best brakes in the world, as we've seen so far in a few practice sessions, blocking running wide. But now we're trying to get slipstream now on the back, Sebastian BUEMI. BUEMI is actually pulling away from us, so much like last season where we had Lotus, we had Carmen Georgia as a teammate. It seems our teammate really runs a much more low drag setup than we do here at Canada. We can maximise more speed through the corners, and we go for much more speed in the straight line. But now going right up behind Sebastian BUEMI now. We're going to get a second bite now of DRS, gaining in the slipstream now. I'm going to pull to the inside now. Sebastian BUEMI could have get squeezed into the grass and almost a Jos Verstappen-esque move like he did in the arrows in the wet. So Verstappen's move there was definitely more impressive, but still. 2 wheels on the grass around the outside of our teammate Sebastian BUEMI. I'll take that. I'll take any overtake on Sebastian BUEMI instantly to gain a position. So now we're up into P3. Now we can chase down Daniel Kvyat, who's now in P2. We've got Valtteri Bottas out in front. So Bottas looks like he's finally woken up in this season. That's finally trying to get his championship back on track, of course, after having three DNFs in the first 4 races of the season with 3 engine failures. So it looks like Bottas is finally trying to turn his luck around. He's now leading Canadian Grand Prix. We've got BUEMI all over the back of us now. Of course, through this section, that's where we're pretty weak. In 3rd gear, we just didn't get the best traction in the world. Now going through that high speed chicane, we actually gained a bit of time there on Sebastian BUEMI. Now coming into any traction zone, BUEMI seems to be stronger over us now. Coming out of this hairpin, BUEMI should get a better run than us. We've now got the whole queue of cars slowly falling behind us now, the Red Bull and Fernando Alonso, maybe Will Stevens and the 2 Ferraris as well. Now looking at Sebastian BUEMI, BUEMI's going to gain in the slipstream. He's going to try and make a move now into the final chicane. He's going to pull to the inside now, going to try and hold it up the inside. We break early, give BUEMI to position, because we're already definitely going too wide through there and losing more time than we're already going to by battling through the final chicane in the first place. Now BUEMI, of course, there's double DRS, so now trying to worry about defending now from trying to make Verne behind. So Verne thankfully wasn't close enough to try and make a move. Now we have to worry about gaining once again on Sebastian BUEMI to try and re-overtake our teammate. This is pretty a pretty good representation of the McLaren's problem this season. See, they have got the pace to keep up in DRS. Once they get in front, they're just a complete sitting duck for everyone else. Because as through the speed traps, they're still pretty much the slowest car in a straight line. Of course, because McLaren can run more downforce this season because the chassis and aerodynamics are much improved, and the Honda engine has improved, but not improved as much as needed for them to be up there with Williams, Ferrari, Red Bull, and Mercedes as well. And now coming through this section, third section once again, into the third sector, once again gaining on the back of Sebastian BUEMI, gaining right in his slipstream now. But coming through this hairpin, we're just not close enough to try and make a move up the inside of the tree and try and hold it around the outside. Just try something different, trying to overtake Sebastian BUEMI now. As the more we're battling though, it looks like we're actually starting to catch Daniel Kvyat, of course, because Kvyat into the Red Bull with that Renault power unit, only the fastest in a straight line. Talking in a straight line, Alonso's to try and breeze around the outside now of Jean-Eric Verne into the final chicane. Verne hold it around the outside just like he does. Now we're going to try and get up the inside there once again off Sebastian BUEMI. Now we made that move stick, so now we're back up into P3, and now we can try and chase down Daniel Kvyat, but BUEMI can have other ideas. Trying to look around the outside, show getting the mirrors. We can try to dive up the inside. No, he isn't. BUEMI sticks behind us. Now we actually to go purple there through the final sector. Of course, that's not pretty much difficult going purple through a sector that's just pretty much a straight line. So now we're up into P3 once again, trying to chase down Daniel Kvyat, and Bottas is just pretty much flying away into the distance at this point. But still, there's another 30 laps of the race left to go. Now cutting a bit further on is the battle with the 2 Ferraris and Will Stevens, with Stevens being hunted down there by the lead Ferrari. I thought what you think is Lewis Hamilton now coming down into the hairpin. Hamilton pits, so Hamilton doing what Vettel did last race, coming for an undercut to try and get past Stevens. I mean, Ferrari made it work last race, so let's see if they can make it work with Hamilton this time. So Hamilton coming in now. What tyres is Hamilton going on to? Going on to a set of soft tyres. So Hamilton looking to go to the end of the Grand Prix on that set of soft tyres. So pretty much a one-stop race here at Canada. Pretty much what we expect is the fastest tyre then to the slowest. But if we make a one-stop, pretty much I guess they're thinking a one-stop's quicker than a two-stop. Now, it depends. Is Hamilton going to come out in any traffic? Are you going to get in front of that Red Bull? Not Red Bull, with the Renaults and one of the Hasses as well. So that Haas really has dropped back. You think with their BMW power unit, that'd be pretty much really fast around here. No, that Renault there is on the super soft tyres, whereas that Haas is on the soft tyres. So that may explain why the Renault is keeping up with it. But in a straight line, it shouldn't be able to try and make overtake, because despite Renault's race, they've still got nothing on BMW yet. They're cutting a bit further when they're coming for our pit stop. See there, BUEMI had got back in front of us, so BUEMI had overtaken us once again at some point. Now we're coming for a pit stop, and it looks like Fernando Alonso in the Mercedes has had the same idea as us as well. So now it's going to be a battle with the pit crews. Can Williams actually give us a good pit stop for once when it matters? And get changing there onto the soft tyres. Actually do get a good pit stop. We get out in front there of Fernando Alonso. We do actually pull a bit of a gap there to Fernando Alonso. So great stop there from the Williams boys, getting us a good pit stop finally when it matters. Now, are we going to come out in any traffic? That's the question. We're coming out into turn 2 because, of course, we cut out turn 1 after that redesigned pit lane. We're coming out side by side with one of the Toro Rossos, in fact. Pretty much, is that Carlos Sainz again? Like it was last race, coming out just behind Carlos Sainz. The Sainz going to try and hold it now around the outside. But it gets poised. It actually taps the wall there, losing momentum. And now we get in front there of the Toro Rosso. Now, Fernando Alonso, imagine we'll have to make a move on the Toro Rosso pretty soon if he doesn't want to get held up by it. You know, does Sainz have any front wing damage from that? It looks like, yes, he does. Sainz has pretty much lost half his front wing from hitting the wall there, so calamities there for the Toro Rosso boy. And now Alonso's trying to now look up the inside of Carlos Sainz into the third sector, trying to hold down around the outside. Sainz is going to keep his nose in, fair play to him, because Canada isn't the best race to have front wing damage round, so it's pretty much all low speed corners. So I think a bit of front wing damage isn't the worst thing in the world. A huge lock up there from one of the Force Indies behind though. And actually, because they got front wing damage, they'll have less drag, so they're actually going to go faster in a straight line. So now, can that Toro Rosso try and fight back now at Fernando Alonso in the straight line? Because imagine that Toro Rosso will be running a low drag set 20, seeing they do have a Renault power hit. But now, tries to pull out into the solution, but it just isn't close enough to try and make a move. Now that Toro Rosso does come into the pit, so I imagine that Toro Rosso think that front wing damage was substantially enough to warrant a pit stop at the end of that lap. That pretty much ruined that Toro Rosso's race, unless he can go and set a soft tyres now to the end of the Grand Prix. But I didn't see what tyres he's on to begin with. And there's one of the Red Bulls there coming out of the pits. I think that's John Verne, so Verne's going to drop behind one of the Force India, so it looks like they've all got the undercut there on Johnny Verne, so Verne's staying out for an extra few laps. Really hasn't worked there for the Frenchman, but he's also on a set of soft tyres, so he's looking to go to the end of the Grand Prix. So they've got what's come out there just in front of one of the Ferraris. I don't know which Ferrari that is. Is that Lewis Hamilton? I think that's Hamilton's. Hamilton's undercut really hasn't worked. He's been jumped there by Verne, by Alonso, and by his teammate Sebastian Vettel of all as well, which I imagine probably wasn't in Ferrari's game plan, given the undercut, try and give Hamilton the extra pace, try and clear Stevens. It looks like he's going to completely reverse, actually he's lost position instead of gaining any. I think it may have gone from there with Will Stevens. I didn't see Stevens in that panning shot of any of the cars. Getting a bit further on there, we've got Haryanto trying to overtake one of the cars in front. We've got one of the McLarens in front of us, because that's Haryanto in front of us now. So Haryanto starting on the soft tyres, going a long way into this race now. Cutting a bit further in front, we've got Pascal Wehrlein in the manor, leading the Grand Prix. But just like Daniel Kvyat now going to come and spoil the party, to try and make a move around the outside of Pascal Wehrlein coming into turn 1. Wehrlein doesn't fight it. I mean, Wehrlein, I'm not sure many people can say they've led a race in their debut season. Honestly, I think that's the first time Manor has led a race since we took our victory for them in Season 1 back in 2014 at Singapore. So Wehrlein reading wonders there for Manor at this stage in the season, pretty much leading the Grand Prix. Just make sure that might just be a glory thing for Pascal Wehrlein. They've got a VSC deployed. They've still got 21 cars in the race, so no one's retired. So I'm not quite sure what this VSC was for at this point. So I have to take a look at the replay of that actually right now. And having a look at what happened actually starting quite a way back. It's all the yellow flags were out in turn 1. Now we've got Sergio Perez doing battle with the Red Bull of John Verne. So Verne managed to make a move around the outside there. Perez will heading to fight it right back now up the inside. You know, that Force India with the low drag setup, because they haven't really got the downforce, much downforce on that car as it is. So Canada should be a race that suits their car with the low drag straight line speed setup that they have for their car this season. That's going to be a complete drag race now down to final corner. Van gets back in front, but Perez will have DRS. They look to switch to the outside and they go fake to the inside now. Ultra and Van are coming up into the final corner. Can make the move stick and they can try and dive it up the inside into the final chicane. Now Van's going to try and stick it around the outside. Perez gets a poor line there, but once again Perez should have DRS on the back. Ultra now makes the move to the outside now, which will turn to the inside. Now Lewis Hamilton looks to make it 3 wide now as they come down into turn 1. This is going to end. Perez has been spun. No, Perez has been spun. Calamities there for the Mexican. Just got pinched on the apex, so it looked. Now goes one of the Renaults now having to wait for absolutely everyone to go past. Now cutting back onto the end now of the VSC. Got Haryanto in front of us. Now how to close back in on the McLaren. See, we made the move on Stevens pretty convincingly at the start of the Grand Prix, so try and make the same move on Haryanto. But first we'll go try and catch him because Haryanto, I imagine, will put more of a fight than what Stevens. Stevens just put up a decent fight, so I can't really compare Stevens to Haryanto at this stage because this is Stevens' first race and we haven't really seen much of him. He just put up a good fight, qualifying it of course in P6 with what was probably a low drag setup. Now through this corner, see there in 3rd and 4th gear, we just lose so much time on the traction. Now cutting onto the next line now with Colt right onto the back now. Already Haryanto going to try and make a dive into the hairpin, getting in the braking, but no, we're just not gaining enough. And we have to stay behind Haryanto for a bit longer because Haryanto is still yet to actually stop in this race. Because starting on the soft tyres, looking to go a long way and probably go onto a set of ultra softs at the end of the core piece, doing the counter strategy to what all the top 10 did at the start of the race. Now gaining in the DRS because Haryanto starts DRS there off the back of BUEMI in front just about. Now coming into final chicane now to make a move there on Rio Haryanto. Now coming to the final chicane, trying a good exit through here. We try and get the momentum on Haryanto because Haryanto once again will still have DRS on the back. Especially BUEMI now coming up now into Taiwan, going to braking again for a lay dive over the inside there of Haryanto, get pinched on the apex. Just about leave us enough in there. Try and go right around the outside now of the Indonesian. Can keep it side by side. We go to the racing line. Now try and get the momentum around the outside. Of Rio Haryanto now cutting up into the first chicane. Try now around us. There's actually someone's brake there. There looks like someone's brake there on the curb, so that may explain why that car was out. Well, they've lost a brake, they've lost a wheel. That'll probably explain whichever car that was and why there was 21 runners at the end of the first lap. And now we're up into P4. Now we can try and chase down our teammate Sebastian BUEMI, and really has managed to get away from us now with that battling with Rio Haryanto. So we're going to jump to Rich Mix, put our head down and try and catch up to Sebastian BUEMI for what would be a podium position. I think Bottas and Kvyat have pretty much gone at this point. Actually, they're not too far from. You see the two dots on the mini-map. That is Bottas just in front there, and Daniel Kvyat has gone quite well with the race. I don't know where Kvyat actually got in front of Valtteri Bottas to retake the lead of the Grand Prix. Looks like at some stage of the race, yes, well, it's clearly over to Bottas at some stage. Maybe just having more race pace. Maybe end up in Rich Mix or something. Maybe there's no coming to lap 30. There's another VSC on lap 20. Once again, can no one just drive this season? Well, another VSC. What was this one for this time? Now, once again, that's Sergio Perez. Sergio Perez has been involved in another incident. There's got the Renaults with Nico Hulkenberg looking inside. So interesting that Renault's trying to overtake someone with their disappointing qualifying, starting on the back row of the grid. Both Daniel Ricciardo and Nico Hulkenberg now. Toro Rosso look to make it 3 wide. But no, Toro Rosso going 3 wide now. With Sergio Perez into turn 1. Perez going to get spun again. No, they all make it through turn 1 this time. Now with Toro Rosso, they're trying to hold it right around the outside. They're going to keep it 3 wide. Kind of coming out on the exit now, around turn 2. Going to keep 3 wide. Perez just going to get sandwiched out there. Loses out on the downforce. Now two Toro Rosso going side by side now in front. Side by side now through the second section. Now what's actually happened there? There goes the Renault. Enforcing the yellow flag. Toro Rosso is going slowly. Once Toro Rosso is going slowly, they got a puncture? Surely they must have a puncture. Something's wrong with their car, clearly. Because they're going really slowly. What actually happened there? You can see that Toro Rosso does have a puncture on the rear right, so they're actually doing a half a lap with a puncture. And of course they're on the ultra soft tyres. That's probably Carlos Sainz. We saw Sainz starting there on the soft tyres, so Sainz's race has just gone from bad to worse. Actually no, it's Max Verstappen. What's happened here? Verstappen just finds the gap right around the outside of Sergio Perez. Just keeps it in there, calling it around the outside, which then tests the inside. He gets boxed in there behind the Renault. He tries to make the move on the inside of Perez and his teammate Carlos Sainz as well. Now there's two Toro Rosso going side by side now. See Sainz come back into shot there. They can try and hold it around the outside. Of course Sainz has to get it through, and then Verstappen just understeers into the wall. Calamities there for Toro Rosso. That's not the first time they've come to blows this season. This is the first time they did it at the first race at Australia, where they completely punched each other off of the track. Now cutting onto the end of the VSC, we're still in P4, trying to chase down our teammates Sebastian BUEMI. So once again, another lap, pretty much another lap there. Obviously, the more VSCs we have, the more laps we lose to try and catch up to the back of Sebastian BUEMI. Of course, me and BUEMI going to the end of the Grand Prix on these set of soft tyres, barring an actual safety car where I'll dive into the pits for a set of ultra softs. Of course, we haven't got any set of super softs to use. this race, so everything goes to another set of ultras off if there's enough laps in the race left to go. Now looking a bit further back, I've got Fernando Alonso coming under attack from Lewis Hamilton. They've got Pascal Wehrlein in the manor just behind him now. Lewis Hamilton looking up the inside now. Fernando Alonso coming up into the third sector. Can Hamilton hold it on the inside? No, Alonso's trying now around the outside, which now tends to the inside for the Spaniard. Now we've got Pascal Wehrlein getting right in the slipstream. And no, Pascal Wehrlein's going to move to the inside now of Lewis Hamilton coming up to him. He's going to go 3 wide with the Ferrari and the works Mercedes. Now Pascal Wehrlein holding it around the outside now of Lewis Hamilton, going to keep it side by side. With the Ferrari gets forced out there by Lewis Hamilton, now to slot back in behind the Ferrari. They're getting a position, going to go right around the outside now of Lewis Hamilton. Come on, Wehrlein, get past Fernando, get past Lewis Hamilton. Now he actually makes the move there. And now Alonso fighting back on Lewis Hamilton. With the outside into final chicane, can Alonso holding out around the outside, gets a poor exit, gets forced out by Lewis Hamilton. And it looks like Lewis Hamilton is just going to keep position, but Pascal Wehrlein making a move there on the works Mercedes and a works Ferrari. I know Esteban Ocon looking to get involved as well in this fight. Seeing this track really is working to advantage, and Pascal Wehrlein there. Wehrlein on a mission, leading the race now, overtaking the biggest sister team of Mercedes and a Ferrari as well. Well, that's not something you see every day. A manor overtaking a works Mercedes. Of course, this circuit is to their plan. Now Fernando Alonso there actually dropping back from Lewis Hamilton. Has Alonso got a car problem? I wouldn't be surprising if Mercedes like having car issues this season. It seems they've had one pretty much every race so far, except for, well, they had one that's. I don't think they had any issues at Spain. I think it's been the only race so far when either of their cars hasn't blown up or had some sort of car issue. Now cutting onto lap 25, we're right under the back now of Sebastian Buemi, gaining in the slipstream of our teammate. Now we're going to pull to the inside of our team now into the final chicane. Going to hold now the inside. Buemi breaks early. When we make the mid there, we get a poor exit. Then that gives Buemi a run back on us now, does it? We're gaining in the slipstream because we still have DRS, so this is just be slipstream for Buemi. He's getting right in the slipstream, sticking all over our rear diffuser, but he doesn't make a move into turn 1. So now for the time being, we are up into P3. Now we can chase down obviously Bottas, who just still there up in front. So Bottas really isn't that far up in front. And if he's having car issues as well, then we may be trying to catch him now. Cutting onto the end of the next lap though. Buemi gaining on the station. He's going to make a move up into the final chicane. He's going to keep it side by side with us. The final chicane, we just bail out of the corner and just decide to go down the skate road. So now we're going to have to give Buemi the position because he kept our position off of the tracks. Now we're going to give that position to Sebastian Buemi, which we do because that's slightly best to go down the escape road rather than losing more time trying to battling through the final chicane because Buemi had the corner. We were waiting too hard. He pretty much did a real life Nico Rosberg there. Thankfully without spinning out though. Now cutting onto the end of the next lap. Now we're right on behind Sebastian Buemi once again, getting a great run there through the final chicane. The switch to the outside now, which attend to the inside. Sebastian Buemi coming up to turn 1. Once again, 2 wheels on the grass. Buemi really forcing us wide. Really fighting to say. Imagine Frank Williams rather biting his nails at this point now. Seeing us getting wheel to wheel like this for P3. Now Bottas can try holding right around there outside. Sebastian Buemi can try around there outside now, coming out into the chain and try and keep it side by side now with our teammate. We can get it right around the outside. Thankfully we avoid contact with the wall, and once again we move back up into P3 ahead of our teammate Sebastian Buemi. Now Buemi just keep closer through here. Now coming up through here once again. Buemi will know we're weak. It's just here, on the traction here, 3rd and 4th gear. We just get no purchase whatsoever. Now we've got Buemi getting right section. Now Buemi's going to look to our inside now, coming to the 3rd sector. Can Buemi hold it up our inside and keep it side by side with us? But we just hold it right around the outside up Buemi. Now Buemi just once again just have to wait for DRS, I'm sure. Because with DRS he should be able to make an easy move once again. Gaining attention, he's already right back behind us again. After 2 corners later, Buemi's already right back on the back of us once again. But now with DRS, Buemi should be able to make an easy move once again back up into P3. If indeed he has DRS, because we've had a few DRS issues to say. Now Buemi's going to look, so we give Buemi the outside, defend to this side, but it's no use. Buemi's just going to power straight around our outside to get back up into P3. We're under braking and try and get back on the back of it. Now we have to gain it in the slipstream because Buemi once again now has DRS to try and pull away from us. But now we just have to gain it in the slipstream, turn the engine with use all the power that the BMW engine could give us. But we're sure Buemi's the exact same thing. We try and back up the inside, we fake to the inside there, but Buemi knows what we're doing. Covers herself, and now Buemi once again now back up into P3. Now cutting to lap 33, Romain Grosjean's now at the Grand Prix. That's pretty worrying there. So was that an engine failure for Romain Grosjean? Of course, because Haas have the exact same BMW engines as what me and Buemi do, so that's pretty worrying. If Grosjean's out of the Grand Prix with one of the BMW powered cars, but now yellow flags on the front. Don't tell me Grosjean's parked off with the final chicane. Let's show you where to overtake and see on the map there. Grosjean is parked off the side there, so that surely is an engine failure for Grosjean. He's parked off to the side there through the final chicane, and surely there's no way I'm going to have to make a move there unless the stewards can hopefully get that car cleared away very quickly, so we can try and make a move. On Sebastian Buemi, because I'm sure everyone wants to see that car get removed from the final chicane, so we see some overtaking, possibly into the final chicane, possibly from me, Buemi, and possibly from anyone else as well. Now cutting onto the end of the next lap. No, getting DRS now on the back of Sebastian BUEMI once again. The question is, has Grosjean's car been cleared from the final chicane? There's no yellow flag there, so I'm guessing that BUEMI's car has been cleared. Now coming into the final chicane, you see there's no Haas there on the inside of the apex, so Grosjean's car has thankfully been cleared away. Great work there from the marshal to clear that car away so quickly. And now we're going to look to the outside now. Sebastian BUEMI should turn to the inside now, coming into turn 1. We're trying to hold it now around the outside. BUEMI can make contact there, but actually helps us get our car turned. I'm trying to hit it right around the outside of BUEMI, so BUEMI there, they've actually done us a favour by hitting us. Got our car turned better. Now we can drive right on the outside, get the traction. That's now on to the final lap of the Grand Prix. There's no way we're catching Valtteri Bottas, so this is the fight now for P3 between myself and Sebastian BUEMI. Now coming up into the second sector once again, coming up to our weakest point on the track. Let's try and do everything we can to try and defend here from Sebastian BUEMI. He's got his proximity out there all over the back of us. So we know he's gaining in the slowstream and just pure traction out of the corner because BUEMI with the low drag setup. Now BUEMI can try now right around our outside, we force him to the outside. We just keep it in front there, keep it side by side, give BUEMI the space. We just about get it in front there of our teammate once again. Now coming up into the final sector of the lap. BUEMI's trying to come into the hairpins, gaining right behind us. No, he just sticks behind us once again. Now going through the final chicane, that's actually a pretty good decision there from Sebastian BUEMI because now he's going to have DRS once again. Try and overtake, and now we have to do the ultimate defensive start. That's his job, try and keep ahead here of our Swiss teammate. Now BUEMI's getting in a slow stream, which is going to get to the inside of us this time. So we can't even defend it to that side. Now force BUEMI over to the grass, and we're now going back into the racing line, give BUEMI the inside line. You're going to keep it side by side now through the final chicane. We get terrible there, BUEMI is out wide. We get a compromised tight line there, so it's going to be a complete drag race now. Down to the final chicane, who's going to get it? BUEMI's going to get it, guys. Some huge stream, we ran out of fuel on the line. And BUEMI gets it back up into P3. Right on the line. I don't think that could be any closer to the finish line there for BUEMI to get it back up into P3, so we have to set up for P4 and Sebastian Vettel just behind us in P5. They can see Christian Horner very happy there with his driver's work, because Daniel Kvyat winning the Grand Prix in the end, pretty much unchallenged after the first stint, after he somewhere took the lead from Valtteri Bottas. He's there, his 4th career victory, his 3rd of this season, and his 2nd race victory in a row. Taking a look at the race results, Daniel Kvyat will take victory, 10.5 seconds clear from Valtteri Bottas. So I don't know what happened to Bottas. Maybe he had some sort of Mercedes engine issue to drop 10 seconds from being in the lead from being about 5, maybe 6 seconds in the lead himself, to dropping nearly 11 seconds behind at the end of the Grand Prix. Sebastian BUEMI come home in 3rd, just over a 10th clear from us in the end. So taking it on the line, running out of fuel really wasn't the best idea from us. We set ourselves for 4th in the end. Sebastian Vettel just right behind us in 5th, 2 tenths behind us. Jean-Eric Vergne with a disappointing race, only managed 6th in the end, with Rui Harianto recovering up to 7th, getting ahead with his new teammate Will Stevens. Esteban Ocon with a good race comes home in 9th for Force India, and Pascal Wehrlein in 10th for Manor, getting their first points of the season. But great drive there from Pascal Wehrlein, overtaking Fernando Alonso. He recovers back up to 11th, and Lewis Hamilton there in 12th. So great race there from Pascal Wehrlein. Pascal Wehrlein easily my driver of the day vote, if I was to vote on this, but easily Pascal Wehrlein I'll give the driver of the day to for that. Taking a look now at the Drivers' Championship, and now we only have an 8-point lead over Daniel Kvyat. So Kvyat's halved our championship lead in one race. Now we're only 8 points clear of the Russian. Jean-Eric Vergne is in 3rd now, over a race win behind now, 25 points off the championship lead after leading the championship for the first 3 rounds of the season, I think. Really needs to pick up his pace to get back in this championship fight. Fernando Alonso in 4th on 60 points. And Lewis Hamilton in 5th on 55, actually joined now with our teammate BUEMI on 55 points. And Vettel in 7th now, 11 points off of our teammate and his teammate Lewis Hamilton, and only 1 point clear of Valtteri Bottas. And after the start of the season Valtteri Bottas has had, that's pretty much just shows how poor the Ferrari really is. Rui Harianto in 9th, 10 points behind Valtteri Bottas, with Max Verstappen 10 points behind Harianto in 10th. Romain Grosjean and Alex Rossi round off the top 12 for Haas, despite both of them failing to score in this race. Now moving on to the Constructors' Standings, Red Bull remain in the lead of the Drivers' Championship, and have actually extended their lead now to 8 points over Williams. Mercedes now move up into 3rd, 4 points clear of the Ferrari, and they drop down to 4th. McLaren remain in 5th with 38 points, with Toro Rosso in 6th on 28, 2 points clear of Haas, who are in 7th. Force India remaining 8th on 24 points, with Renault in 9th on 13. Actually, Manor now moved back up into 10th, of course, because Verlaine scored 3 points in this race, so crucial race there for Manor and Verlaine to get back up into P10, demoting Sauber back down to 11th. So that's been the Canadian Grand Prix. Thanks for watching. Remember to leave a like if you enjoyed the race, subscribe if you're new, and vote for your driver of the day with the polling that will be in the description and in the comments as well. And thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time.